Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon.
I just like doing it. Today I will be talking to you about the importance of being an engaged voter.
All right.
Being past North Central Alabama Region's Young Adult President, I kind of took the liberty to add those two words into it, because most of us in here are registered and we already know the importance of voting and what our ancestors did and what they sacrificed to do so that we would have the opportunity to vote. What if I told you that our survival depended on what you do in anticipation of casting your ballot? Most people think that being present on their first Tuesday in November counts as a political victory, when it is merely a battle, not unlike Gettysburg, Bunker Hill, Shiloh, Saratoga, or the Alamo. As time passes, it seems that either voting has lost its commonplace as civic duty, or the payout of constitutional right that we force the powers that be to give us is not giving us the same return on investment as other demographics in America. I say it's both. The matters that plague Black Americans are a lack of engagement in the political process. So what is it that Black Americans need? And keeping on target with our theme today with sevens, I have 7 needs that Black people need to do in politics. The first need is we need to know what it is that we want as Black Americans. We need to know who we are talking to. We need to know voting is an exchange, not a gift. We need to know what is on our ballot. We need to hold our officials accountable. We need to hold our institutions accountable. And number 7 is we need to hold ourselves politically accountable. We need to know what we want. What is your personal agenda? Education, mass incarceration, or is it just that pothole that you keep riding over when you leave your community? Once you understand what it is that you personally need and what your community needs collectively, you can advocate, you can build a square and stand on it. In politics, you have to learn a lot. 2, we need to know who we're talking to. What does the mayor do? Who is your mayor? What does city council do? Who is your city council person? What does a senator do? What does the city clerk do? And how can this benefit you politically? 3, we need to know that voting is an exchange. Politicians respond to pressure, not applause. With step 3, we have to become more active in the political landscape. We have to start calling our politicians, emailing our politicians. We have to do whatever is needed. But you can't get to step 3 until you do step 1 and 2, which is we need to know what it is that we want as Black Americans individually and collectively, and we need to know who it is that we're talking to. Number 4, we need to know what is on the ballot. Being an engaged voter is about constant learning. There are initiatives on the ballot outside of just elected officials. We need to understand what those ballots are. With Amendment 2, last voting cycle, I don't think a lot of people engage the reading, because what they like to do, especially down in the South, is use biblical format of text. So everything that they do plays on our heartstrings if we don't look and research what it is that we're doing. Step number 5, we need to hold our officials accountable. Now, if you're still driving down that street and that pothole is still there, you need to call somebody. You need to call them on their campaign promises. You need to, Mr. Senator or Mr. Councilman, right here in the Sunday paper, on page 7, it said that you were going to build 6 parks, you was going to do this for the community shelter, and none of this has been done. We have to hold them accountable for what they are and are not doing. We need to hold our institutions accountable. Long-standing institutions seem to have gotten away from the streets. The NAACP, the Urban League, the ACLU, as well as others, and even the church. We have to change that, but we cannot change it from the outside. We have to become insiders in these settings, in our church, to make substantial change in our institutions. We have to have institutions like the NAACP because they push our narratives as a collective. But if they don't understand what our narrative is, they're just pushing.
All right.
And 7, we need to hold ourselves politically accountable. If we do all of these things that I just listed, we will be holding ourselves politically accountable. We need to know what it is that we want. We need to know who we're talking to. We need to know that voting is an exchange, not a gift. We need to know what is on our ballot. We need to hold our officials accountable. We need to hold our institutions accountable. And we need to hold ourselves politically accountable.